persaingan global kini yang semakin meningkat dan ekonomi yang kian berubah dengan pesat, rakyat Singapura kita perlu memperolehi kemahiran baru supaya kita tidak ketinggalan. Justru, pemerintah akan memperuntukkan kredit tambahan Skills Future berjumlah $500 untuk setiap warga negara Singapura berusia 25 tahun ke atas untuk meningkatkan kesediaan diri dan kemahiran industri. Oleh itu, dalam episod kali ini, kita ingin menghargai dan mengiktiraf apa yang telah dikecapi dan dipelajari oleh para belia kita yang membuat mereka individu yang lebih bersedia dan matang bagi menghadapi cabaran baru ekonomi pasca COVID-19 ini. Ayuh kita selami hasrat, impian dan bidang yang dicuburi belia kita. Bilik Kaca at Keat akan menemu ramah seorang belia yang memulakan perniagaan pelancongan eco. Di masa yang sama, beliau juga giat menyumbang sebagai seorang sukarelawan. Kita juga akan mendengar daripada seorang guru agama yang menghadapi pelbagai cabaran hidup untuk mendalami ilmu ukhrawinya, dan seorang guru prasekolah juga yang berkecimpung dalam bidangnya dan berusaha untuk mencapai perubahan pemikiran dalam masyarakat kita. Akhir sekali, kita akan mendengar sebuah perkongsian oleh seorang belia yang menceburi muzik digital dan menebar sayapnya bagi mempelajari bidangnya, tidak mengira peringkat usia apa jua pun. Setinggi-tinggi terima kasih saya ucapkan pada semua belia atas perkongsian pengalaman mereka dalam rancangan ini. Sila menonton.
Usually, someone who is in their teens enjoys hanging out with peers and trying all sorts of things. However, these teenagers diligently followed his father to the mosque. So, the interest to deepen Islamic knowledge came about in this particular youth. Ustaz Muhammed Faheem Abdul Khalil started like any other teenagers, raised in Tekwai communities and attended school in Chua Chu Kang. Let's dive into his interests. Sila Ustaz.
Terima kasih. Bismillah.
Help yourself.
Thank you
All
so
the
much.
pre-traditional.
It's been a while.
Yeah, man. Come.
Thank you so much.
Yeah. Let's have a taste. How's your family, Ustaz?
Alhamdulillah, doing good. Everybody's doing good.
So you have how many kids now?
Currently, current moment, it's only two. Alhamdulillah.
What do you mean by current moment? So your wife is expecting?
Oh, no. But we've never not planned much. But currently, it's only two. Alhamdulillah.
Alhamdulillah. So, girl?
One daughter and one son.
Wow.
Alhamdulillah.
So it's a pair thing.
Alhamdulillah.
Right? Yeah. Okay. Great. So you have two kids.
Yeah.
So they are big enough. I mean they are schooling in a way.
Currently, my daughter is 5 years old, K1. Then my son is pre-nursery. So
Alright. Alhamdulillah.
it's a gauge of 2 years.
Yeah. So it's a good experience when the kids are small. That kind of
Alhamdulillah.
Asking, what do you impart yourself in your kids? You know, how do you manage yourself together with your wife? You know, upbringing of the kids at this level.
Currently, my wife is full-time housewife. So basically, she has more time with the kids lah. Then before this, because basically my kids grew up in Madinah. I finished I was in Madinah for 8 years. So my son was born in Madinah. Then my daughter, when she was like a few months, we brought her over. So basically, they were all homeschooling when they were in Madinah. And when they came back also, we came a little bit late, so we didn't get any enrollment into any school. So it was totally homeschooling. So recently, then they just get into they just enrolled into a school. So Alhamdulillah, as of now, our main focus is because they grew up in Saudi Arabia.
Yeah.
So now they're in Singapore context.
So the environment is
So they will be speaking Arabic all the time. Their default language is Arabic.
Wow. So wow. Okay.
So yeah, instilling in them the values. I mean how we, because you know the Arab cultures and the Malay cultures and the Muslim cultures is different.
Yeah.
Quite
Agreed.
different.
Okay.
So yeah, so that's how. Then we instill them values, language, what's important in Singapore's context. Not forgetting the Islamic values and stuff. Yeah.
How do you put yourself home learning? How do you gauge what is home learning to you basically? So you have timetable for them to sit in, to study with your wife or yourself, over there?
Basically because I'm working in the mosque, so pre-COVID was office hours. So most of the time my wife will have set a timetable for them. Then basically today will be English, or maybe today's English and maths. Then if it's English and maths, then what's the module, what will be covered. So she's focusing for the madrasah entrance test. So everything that's being planned is planned for that.
Okay. Then what is the difference? See, so when your kids is there, they have this, the Arab culture. So when they are in Singapore, they have those, our Malay or community culture in a way. So what is the impact? Do they feel, awkward or that kind of thing?
I can say the most contrast one is food. In terms of food, they prefer the nasi mandi, nasi kapsa.
Okay.
Chili cannot sambal. They follow the father. So yeah, cannot pedas-pedas. Nice. Chili lemak. Chili api cannot. So anything that's spicy, totally they cannot eat. They don't prefer sauce. They prefer mayonnaise. They prefer corn. Some things that are dry, they prefer that. Kuih, okay, that's even epok-epok they will eat the crust only. Keropok, something which is in that sense dry, they prefer that. Tapi kalau in that sense, if there's gravy, spicy,
so they have to take time to get used to it.
Still adapting.
And then how about festive Hari Raya? That kind of thing when you are there with your kids itself, with your family, and their grandparents is here, that kind of thing. So how do they communicate in a way over there when you?
Mostly it's all video call lah. Because and usually we come back yearly. So because when I was in Saudi Arabia, we were under scholarship, so they provide for us yearly ticket back to Singapore. So when we come back, usually we come back around Ramadan, and we will stay until like maybe mid of Hari Raya. Then we'll come back. So usually, inshallah, they have the touch of Hari Raya.
And they will meet their families here in Singapore. I mean, mainly all your families is around.
Yeah, all my families are in Singapore. So yeah, basically they will look forward to their cousins. Yeah. At least they have Malay cousins, They have proper Malay cousins,
And they
someone to talk to, someone to play with.
The point is they experience the green packet. Do Arab practice? Did you do that?
Somehow, in that sense, because over there they are more, how you can say, over here people are more, I can say that they have more character in that sense that in terms of adab, in terms of
the culture.
Yeah, in Malay culture, they are more people here are more. I can say they are not too rough or rigid. But over there, they are like hitting it's a kind of joke. So it's just joke. So
Really?
yeah. So they can be like hitting each other and just laughing it out. So no, it's nothing. But over here, it's like you hit one person, you can be like,
You're charged,
yeah. Keep your hands to yourself,
Yes,
right? Yeah.
yes.
So it's like when they first came back, there were some things that need improvement, but alhamdulillah lah. I mean, when they were there, they were most. I mean, in that sense, they are the most orang yang beradab sekali in that sense. Because we are from the Malay community, but when you come back, we are the worst. So alhamdulillah, as time went past, I think we've been back in Singapore for the past 1 year. So alhamdulillah, they outgrew all this.
Okay.
All this.
So back then you are studying at somewhere in Arab where and you stays there for how many years? Before you settle down.
Okay. Looking at my past, my education history, I started off from the secular sector. So I basically grew up in Choa Chu Kang, and then I was from Southview Primary School basically. So
you are from Southview Primary School.
Southview Primary School.
So do you remember the teacher's name there?
Yeah, but not all. I remember like Mr. Clifford Olivero, Madam Haslinda.
Wow.
So
Okay.
there's a few lah, to name a
Alright.
few. So okay, after spending years in my in the secular education, so I decided to embark in the religious sector because I had that passion in religion. So I started off in Malaysia, where I memorized the whole Quran in I think 3.5 years. So after finished memorizing, I went to the Middle East. First country was in Syria. That was before the revolution. So
Which year was that when you were in Syria?
around 2010, 2011.
Okay.
I don't exactly remember.
Yeah,
So
yeah.
it's around there.
Yeah.
So it's before the revolution. Then after like 1 year, 1.5 year. So then when the revolution started, and the revolution started, so we were called by MFA to come back to Singapore. So when I came back to Singapore, there was a group of students leaving for Azhar, Egypt. So I followed them to Egypt.
Why do you follow them? In a way, is it a must that you follow because you are continuing your process of studying there, or
It's not mandatory to follow, but the thing is because I was fighting for the next place to go. I mean, to
I
continue
see.
my studies.
Oh, okay,
And
okay.
at the point of time I see that, I was told that there's a group of madrasah students leaving for Egypt. So I was thinking, okay lah. Then I'm able to follow them, and I meet the criteria. So I just followed. So I joined the group. So I was at Egypt for like 8 months also. Then I was told that I was accepted into Medina. So I did the discussion with my parents. So we discussed about it. All was done online. I mean, we called. Then I think that was during the Skype time. Skype was a
Alright.
thing at that point of time.
Yeah.
So we called, we discussed. Then my father told me that since it's under scholarship, so why not give it a go? So and it's to be accepted into Medina, it's like it's the cream of the crop, basically you have to call it, because during my time, my batch was only 8 Singapore students out of the whole Singapore selected. Yeah.
But how the process of selection goes, basically?
Okay, basically during my time, we just have to hand in our documents. Then they will come. At that point of time, they didn't acknowledge Singapore as a country. They take Singapore and Malaysia as one country. So they will send a representative to Malaysia.
Yeah.
Then if you are able to come for the interview, then we come down. But if you're not, at that point of time, I wasn't in Singapore. So if you ask me, I saw it. I said, Alhamdulillah, I don't know. So somehow I was selected. Then, but basically, the procedure is to sit for the interview. Then, if out of the documents, they will sift through the documents. Then they will call those few people up that are selected to go for the interview. Then, from that small portion of people that are selected, then there will be sift also. So they will be filtered to a smaller portion.
So there's the candidates that you are going through. I mean, a lot.
One of them was my Soview friend.
Okay.
So I was like, sure, oh, I meet you here again.
So you are lucky that you're fortunate that you are being selected. Alhamdulillah. Right?
Alhamdulillah, yeah.
Back then, back to Syria. So you went through that revolution there.
Yeah.
What is the feeling during that period itself? What is the atmosphere there? You know,
Okay, when I first came into Syria,
is it culture shock for you? You know, to see that kind of revolution there.
difference, yeah, because in terms of Middle East and we are living in Singapore,
Yeah,
it's like
yeah.
we are way advanced.
Yeah.
And Middle East, some of the Middle East, they are like third world countries. So you don't have a lot of like over here you can have transportation easily accessed. So over there, no, you have to have your own car or maybe go around by taxis. You have no choice by taxis. So it's in terms of culture shock, in a sense, in a way, yeah. In that sense, because and on top of that, I wasn't from madrasah. I didn't have any madrasah background. I just went to weekend madrasah in Al Junaid when I was in my secular education. So basically, when I was in Syria, language was a problem. So I wasn't able to interact. But Alhamdulillah, the people in Syria, they are very understanding. They are very it's like I can say like the Malay community here lah. They it's okay,
Very calm.
very composed. It's okay, you take your time. So when I was first there, we had this buddy system. So then we don't have hostels there.
Right.
So we stay in rented apartments. So maybe in my apartment was like, I think 12, if I'm not wrong, 10 to 12 Singapore students. So we call that the embassy because we have the maximum number of students there.
Okay.
The Singapore. We didn't have any embassy in Singapore. Singapore embassy in Syria.
Okay.
So nearest embassy is in Egypt.
Yeah.
So we made that house into an embassy. So
Because everyone gathered there, everyone sits there, right?
we have the most number of Singaporeans there.
Okay,
Staying in one apartment.
Okay.
So so basically, when we rent our own apartment, we have to cook our own food. In that sense, so we have this duty roster that this day you and your buddy have to cook for the whole apartment.
Okay.
Okay, so first few, I mean, if I'm not wrong, first 2 weeks, I had this buddy system. So they pair me out with one of my seniors. So first 2 weeks, he will follow me to the market. We will buy food together. He will help me talk to the fishmongers and stuff. Then when it comes to the third week, I'm on my own. So I'll be going to the market with the dictionary, then open one by one, translate what is carrot, what is onion. So I learned the hard way, seriously. So when I learned the hard way, Alhamdulillah, within 3 months, I was able to speak Arabic already.
Wow.
So yeah, so
effort is there.
Effort,
you have to put in some effort there
True.
because to go through all the daily lives.
True, yes.
You
To
have-
take taxi, you have to talk Arabic. So basically, culture shock in that sense that there's no easy access. Convenience part, in that sense, yeah. Then some more, we didn't in Singapore we don't have 4 seasons. In Syria, you even have snow there. So the change of climate obviously affect the health,
daily,
everything, yeah.
Correct.
So there was change in a lot of change. That was my first time in the Middle East.
How is the financial contribution, or is there any sponsorship or
When I was in
or
Syria,
on your own finance?
No, in Syria and when I was in Syria and Egypt was totally on my own. In that sense that my father was my biggest support lah. So he was the one that pushed me to, because when I had going back to when I changed from secular line to religious line.
Yeah.
When I did that switch.
Yeah.
So during my time, you had this mainstream mindset that if you change from secular to religious sector, do you have a future?
That is the thing. The next question I want to ask you before that.
Okay. So basically, so the encouragement came from my father. So the biggest encouragement was my dad pushed me on. So when I did the 3 years of memorization of Quran, I've never stayed in hostel. I mean, Singapore, we Singaporeans don't stay in hostel. Every day, how long we spend our time in school or at work, we will somehow come or go back home. You'll return home. But in Malaysia, I have to stay in hostel. So it's like I was already in my 15 or 16 years old. So but at that point of time, I feel homesick. It's like a whole switch. Then I feel there were times that I feel like I cannot move on already. It's like no lah. This is my end point already. But encouragement came from my father to push on, to persevere through. And then alhamdulillah, and so he was my biggest support in that sense, in both encouragement and also finance support. So when I was in Syria and in Egypt, he financed me. He was financing me.
So he supports you all the
support
way
me.
in a way, based in motivation or even a financial thing.
Yeah, financially wise. Yeah.
Okay, you are from secular, right? Subsequently, you change yourself, you tweak yourself into a religious path.
Correct.
To study. What made the change? And another question is that you went to Malaysia to khatam the Quran, right? To finish up the Quran. Who inspired you to finish that? What is your object? You think that yourself that I have to finish this Quran before I further my study up, or what made you go to Malaysia to finish up the Quran?
Okay, basically from the first question is what make that change, what sparked that change?
Yeah.
Is basically because I can say that part of my life I grew up in the mosque. So my father will usually every time he goes to the mosque, he will take me with him because I'm the only son. Oh. So I am the youngest also.
That's nice. Okay.
So I got 2 elder sisters. I'm the youngest. I'm the only son. So I'm quite close to my father. So when my father usually when he goes to the mosque, he will bring me along. So he will spend time. Even during Friday prayers, he will come to my school, seek permission to bring me to the mosque for Friday prayer. Then he will send me back to school. So alhamdulillah, I thumbs up to Solid Primary School.
Support
So they allowed me to go to for Friday prayers, then attend school back. So it was consistent. Then subsequently, my father bring me to the mosque every single day. So it's like visiting the mosque. A trip to the mosque is like the daily routine really. So every night you will go, every day you will go. So
the nearest mosque, of course, the
Al-Masjid Al-Khair Mosque. Yeah.
Okay.
So basically, I grew up there. Then when I spent most of my time there, so basically most of my friends were those at the mosque. Okay, apart from those in school, so most of my time also, I mean, in the days will be those in school, and nights will be, I got nights friend.
So you have activities there.
In that sense, So basically you will, teenage. So we will sit down, chit chat. So these were my circle of friends.
Alright.
Then among the circle of friends, there were students from madrasas. They were also students from the secular line, but they have deep knowledge in religion. So when I sit down with them, this circle of friends, and they discuss religion, so that sparked the interest. So wanting to know, I didn't know religion is that deep, that diverse. So you have a lot of branches that it's going really deep. Then Islam encompasses our life. So it's like as you sit, you gain more. As you sit, you understand more. So that somehow sparked the interest in religious study.
Great.
And then if we go to the second question.
Yeah, what made you, your objective to finish up that
memorization.
Quran? Memorization of that Quran.
Okay. It was more of, basically, as you all know, our Islam is built on the foundation of Quran and the Hadith. The prophetic sayings, prophetic teachings. So basically, to get to memorize the whole Quran. Okay, basically, my family were all secular. We were in the secular stream. So I'm the only one pursuing the religious sector. So for me to be memorizing the whole Quran is like it's like one in a million part of our family. So I didn't want to in that sense. I already put so much leaving my secular life. I was in the express stream when I was in secondary school. So I left everything. Then just to go to this line. Then so to me, so the encouragement to push on is basically that I don't want to tell myself that I made the wrong choice. And also that is part of it. And second part of it is basically the passion to want to know. I mean, as more you memorize, starting was quite difficult, was quite rocky, because in that sense I've never memorized before. And all this while I was from secular, so I don't spend most of my time with the Quran or the prophetic teachings. So it's like a whole new thing, a whole new book to me. So but as years pass, as weeks, months, as I memorize through the Quran, so it starts to, it's like you have that connection with the Quran. It's like we wake up as early as 4 o'clock to enter class. Then our night lights off will be at maybe 10:30, 10 to 11. So basically it's like 3/4 of, or maybe close to 24 hours.
It's just about to memorize.
Just memorizing the Quran. So it's just me and my Quran. So that's all.
Okay.
So you have that connection. So it builds up as you go. Then as I go up to maybe, because we have 30 juz in the Quran, so as I go past the 15th juz, as I go to the 20 juz, I'm like telling myself, I've covered so much already. So just a little bit more.
So it excites you
excite
to move
that,
on in that kind
true.
of thing.
The
I believe
passion and
passion,
excite.
yes. I
The
believe
passion
the
and
passion
excite.
really creates dreams,
True.
right? And you have to put in effort, right? Of course, there is challenges in between,
True.
right? But
I
then,
don't deny that.
correct. Then based on your determination,
True.
based on your interests,
True.
and there is an objective for you, I don't think that it will be a failure if you go smooth with your thing, right? That kind of thing. Hey, when you are in Syria and Egypt, all right, that kind of thing. What is the main challenges that you face through? I mean, not all have the opportunity to go there, right? And you're very fortunate that you're being selected, right? What is the challenges that you went through, and you overcome it, basically?
Basically, when I was in Syria, it's basically the language, because when I changed from secular to religious sector, I didn't have any religious background. So basically, even the part-time madrasa, we don't really memorize much.
Is it a culture shock? Do you get scared in the first place when you're happy, wow, I'm selected, to go there, but then in back end, oh God, I have not, fully prepared.
When you enter the exam room unprepared? Yeah. That's like every day coming to class. Okay, I don't understand.
True. That kind of thing. Do you have a peer challenge there? That kind of thing. There is, hey, wow, your colleague or your friends or your roommates and stuff. Wow, he's there or something like that. That kind of thing. Then I'm so far behind.
Yeah.
So is it hard for me to catch up into that?
True.
Yeah.
I have felt that before. So the thing is, when I first came to Syria, so I was supposed to start from scratch, right? Basically, I got nothing, zero. So I have to start from scratch. But they didn't have enough students for the first class, for the beginners class. So I had to go to the second class. So it's like, second class people really can start conversing in Arabic, and like I'm zero. So it's like, that was among the time I called my dad. I said, no, I cannot. I don't understand anything. How am I supposed to sit for exam later? So that was among the biggest challenge I had. But my dad was like telling me, you're already there. So put yourself, I mean, if you are in Singapore, then you are studying online, or maybe you are maybe doing part time. So it's something else. But you are already full time there. You're already there. So make use of it. So he just told me to like give yourself some time. So I gave like maybe when I gave myself 3 months. So I gave myself 6 months. I told myself 6 months, and that's that. No more than 6 months already. So, but alhamdulillah, if you have the passion, you have the right intention, you make lots of dua, then alhamdulillah, within 3 months, I was able to converse. So I was able to, basically those students in the class, we have mixed students. So we have students from French, I have students from Algeria, I have students totally just converted into Islam. So you have a lot of kinds of varieties there. And all these varieties is like, it's like a wake-up call to me. It's like, if they can do it, it's like, I grew up knowing the Quran. I mean, even though I really memorized the Quran at that point of time when I was in Syria. Yeah. So basically, it's like, most of the vocab is already in me already. It's already in my heart. I already know it by heart. So it's like, and they
what make you scared? What make you, I'm not confident enough. Whereas everything is really in you. You see that kind of thing?
Yeah, because that's the thing. Because it's really, to me, it's like I look at Quran as more of a book rather than language, in that sense that it's a tool to help me. I didn't look at that at first. So as after 3 months, when I was able to converse, then everything that I memorized makes sense. Because it was just like when I was in Malaysia, we converse in Malay, we converse in English.
You can communicate that, right?
Yeah, but we don't converse in Arabic. So basically, we just memorize and we don't understand.
Okay.
So the thing is, when I started in Syria, then when I was able to get the language, then everything then start making sense in the Quran.
Okay.
So then that's how you put the jigsaw together, the puzzles together.
Okay, but then within that 6 months itself, you really made it, no? I could
Alhamdulillah.
say. Your own target itself, right?
Alhamdulillah. And not to boast, but after that, during my exams, I was either first or second. There was one of these students that we always sit together, that we always...
so that is your peers challenge?
Yeah.
a positive peer challenge.
Oh, yeah,
no, I don't see that is a wrong thing to do. That kind of thing. Again, I said, you put in a passion, there is a passion.
True.
And you add on with the objective.
True.
And doing the objective itself,
determination,
yes, and the process goes smoothly, and because you know that where is your weakness point.
True.
Right? And you take someone as a benchmark to you, and there you are. Wow.
So Alhamdulillah.
Let's continue with a drink, right? Wow.
Bismillah.
I believe that you further your study in Madinah University, right? Yeah. So, what made you wants to go to Madinah to further your study?
Basically, I was selected in Madinah. So the scholarship happened in Madinah. So basically, Syria and Egypt was basically a choice that I made. I wanted to go there. I wanted to go to Syria, then I wanted to go to Egypt because there was a group that was leaving for Egypt. So yeah, that was a choice that I made.
So for you, sorry, to interject, for you, is that, well, I have just finished Egypt and Syria. It's not enough for me. I want to learn more. That's why you further up your study in Madinah?
I didn't finish my studies in Syria and Egypt.
Because of the revolution?
In Syria. Then in Egypt, I was halfway through. Then I didn't even start at university yet. I was there because I didn't have any diploma, higher diploma because usually the students that leave from madrasas to Egypt, they have higher diploma in their madrasas. So basically, I don't have that. So I have to go through the secondary school diploma. Then I will be able to go to the University of Azhar.
So you have to start from
bottom up.
Okay.
So basically, I didn't even get into university yet when I got the results that I was selected into Madinah. So discussed with my parents, family. Then at the point I wasn't married. So basically, my family, my parents were the only one that I discussed with. So that was how I shifted over to Madinah. So, and it was also a scholarship. So I was thinking that I didn't want to burden my family. I didn't want to prolong the burden on my family. Basically, my dad was the sole breadwinner. Yeah. Then I didn't want to, because he sacrificed so much for me. He was like a pillar for me. So it's like time for me to return back the favor lah. So that's also I not literally I can't return back the favor. So it's like it's more of lessening the burden on him. So I selected a scholarship and I went to Madinah.
How many years you are in Madinah?
So in Madinah also I had to start from bottom. Language, I had to go to language, secondary, diploma. I even took my diploma in education in psychology in Madinah. Then I went to the degree sector. So I spent around close to 8 years. 8 years, 8 years or more or less.
What do you study there? What is the trade or your master's at?
Currently, I'm just started on my master's, which is on the international Madinah International University. So I'm doing it online. So, but for my degree, during my degree journey in Madinah in Saudi Arabia, in Islamic University of Madinah, I started off with the language. The one that I studied in Syria, I studied the same thing in Madinah. So, but it was more on it was diploma level. That was really diploma level. So basically, I took diploma in linguistic. Then I also did secondary school there. So I basically learned, among the secondary subject was computer, English language. So it's like, okay, so it was like, I took 12 to 14 subjects also, like the normal madrasah students, but just that they had English, they had computer and all this. So yeah, I went through. More than that is basically, I have to study the history of Saudi Arabia and all that. So that was during the secondary school years. So then I was able to, when I embarked on my degree journey, and I started the journey in Islamic law, I also took my second diploma, which is my diploma in education psychology. So that was the second diploma. So basically, my first diploma is the diploma in linguistic, which is totally Arabic.
All right, based on you see, when we're in secondary schools, we have limited studies, subject studies that we. But then when you step into madrasah, there is, I could say, more to add on, right?
True.
Yeah. Do you feel that is a challenge for you? You know, that kind of thing. Because there will be a primary subject, right?
True,
English,
yes.
you know, histories and so forth. But then when you are into a madrasah, there is an additional.
True, correct.
So as what you say, there is more than 10 subjects that you need to learn.
Correct.
Does it stress yourself in a way?
Because basically I was on the religious sector. So basically that even though I covered like subjects like English and computer and stuff like that, I mean the secular line also, but on top of that, more on their focus was more to the religious sector. So that was basically covering like 75% of your subjects. So okay. I still have to pass all that to pass my whole to proceed to the next level. Okay. So it was quite hard in that sense that I didn't finish my studies in Syria, I didn't finish my studies in Egypt. Yeah. So now it's like, okay, I'm starting everything from scratch and I'm embarking a whole new journey and I'm already at the secondary level, you know. So I have to like read through whatever that's on the primary level, go through whatever and there's from Sec 1 and whatever from the past books, past exam papers, just for me to understand where am I right now. So notes is like, writing is like a daily thing. I have like I have like different notebooks for different modules. Going to the teachers, like, you know, it's like if like you were to be close to the teacher in Singapore, people call it teacher's pet. But over there, like it's like people don't really go to close to teachers because they don't see the need to ask the teacher.
You have to do your own self-study.
Self-study. So basically, I have like every time I finish my class, I will straight away meet the teacher outside. Teacher, I don't understand this.
Oh, yeah.
So before class, I will come to the teacher already. Okay, yesterday you explained me this. I already understand maybe like 3/4 of it. Okay, this 1/4 I still understand. So it's like basically my teacher is we don't have tutors. Over here you can go for private tuitions. But over there, like basically I don't have private tutors. Yeah. So my teachers are basically my tutors.
Yeah, true.
But alhamdulillah, I have like good, inspiring teachers that are willing to put aside their time, willing to even invite me to their house to explain to me one-to-one.
I mean, the effort is there.
Yeah, the effort is there.
Right. And
you
I
have
think
to have that effort.
I believe that you received the first class honor.
Alhamdulillah. Yeah.
Wow. Congrats.
Thank
Then
you so
what
much.
made you come back to Singapore after you received that? You know, I know some of them is that, hey, I received this, you know, that kind of thing. I want to continue to do my career there.
Yeah.
But what made you come back to Singapore after you received the first class honor?
Okay, basically, the intention to continue studying there, I mean, to continue my higher tertiary education, there was that intention. Because I got married through my education when I was, I think, just started my degree. So then my wife came over. Then my firstborn was also with me. Then came the second one. So it was more of due to family. I was focusing on my family, the upbringing of my children. So if I were to continue, I would have to continue 4 years more. If I were to continue to my masters, it would be 4 years more. Then to my PhD, there will be another 4 years more. So by then, my kids will be like maybe 8 or 9 years old.
Yeah.
So then by the time and education there, there are certain schools that are acknowledged in Singapore, certain schools not acknowledged in Singapore, and those acknowledged in Singapore are highly. You have to pay it highly. So and I'm on scholarship. So basically, it will be difficult for me to juggle in both ways in that sense. So yeah, in that sense, it was more of it was due to my family, concern for my kids, for my children's education that brought me back to Singapore.
Okay. So are they proud that wow, my father is a Ustaz? You know, did they say that? Do you feel that way?
In that sense that they are amazed every time I appear on TV. They say, oh,
Social media. My dad is there.
Yeah, my dad is there. But I think they don't yet understand that. Basically, I mean, I have the best of both worlds. So I don't see. They don't really understand that yet. But I just hope, inshallah, maybe one day they will understand lah. And as for now, when they first came to Singapore, I was saying that their default language is Arabic.
Yeah.
So they were like quite shocked, like why everybody don't understand? Why is people doing this? Why is people doing that? Why is people not doing what we are doing? You know, in that sense, like so to me, that was one of the reasons that if they were too long in a different country and brought up in a different country, so for them to be coming back, it will be a culture shock for them.
Okay.
If let's say, because we don't know how long are we in this world,
Yeah.
so if anything happens when I'm overseas, so it can be a problem for my wife also.
Understand.
So I was thinking that okay lah, maybe I don't stop here, but I put it on hold. Then get everything settled in Singapore, get my kids' education first, everything settled down. Then when everything is better, then I continue my studies.
Do you want your two kids to follow your footsteps in a way?
Every parent have their, I can say, I mean, I'm sure you're a parent also.
Yeah.
So all of us have our how you say it, in that sense that we have that dream we want our kids to be. But end of the day, what I can see is that wherever that kids has their passion to, wherever they have their interest to, and whatever they are good with, as long as it's in line with, it's not against whatever that's being taught to us in Islam, then by all means. So if let's say, if my kids, I mean, in that sense, they want to follow my path, alhamdulillah, by all means. But if they don't want to follow my path, and whatever path that they are taking is the best for them, is best of their interest, and it's not against the whatever that's being taught to us in Islam.
Yeah.
So alhamdulillah, then by all means.
Yeah. I believe the foundation is important.
True.
Right, to bring them up.
Yes, true.
Right. That's the most basic thing
Correct,
that we
correct.
have to guide them.
Agree on that.
And from there, they can choose their own way. But of course, it has to be in line of our culture, you know, religious,
Yeah,
and so
true.
forth. Hey, during your childhood time, you used to play at our Ahil Mosque. And now you work there, right? Certified Asatiza there. Is this a way of you giving back to the society?
Yeah, basically, currently, me working there right now, the old imams there were my teachers last time.
Hey, I interject a bit. Do you choose to work there in the first place?
Yeah, basically, frankly, I was given, I had a lot of job offers in embassy, in madrasas.
How is the process to start? I mean, after you graduate itself, right? After you come back to Singapore, do they give you do Muiz give you the area that you need to go, or you can choose yourself? That's why I'm a bit of anxious to know, that then do you choose yourself to work in your mosque itself?
Okay, basically, when students from overseas come back after religious studies,
Yeah.
so we have to sit for this thing called PCICS, Post Education Contemporary Studies, Islamic Studies. So after this 1 year, then we will be ARS certified. So from ARS certified, then we can choose wherever we want to go. We can even go to the social sector, social service sector.
Okay.
So basically, you can go into counselling. So it's very vast in that sense. So from my end at that point of time, I was it was basically when you are a fresh graduate, first thing that comes to mind, okay, first job offer, I'm gonna take it. So, but Al-Khair wasn't my first job offer. I was a few other job offers, but why I chose Al-Khair was basically because I grew up there. And I know like maybe 3/4 of the regular congregants that came there, that comes there every single day. So I'm familiar with them, and I grew up here. I know everyone around this neighborhood, mostly, alhamdulillah. Then and also my parents are living nearby, so it's easy to to communicate. And also because I was staying with my parents, so you know, if I have to enter work at 9 o'clock, I can go out of the house at 8:55.
Yeah.
So it's convenient
It's
also.
very convenient.
So that was part of it. So basically, but more of it was because you already, before you start work there, you already know the place, the workplace, the work environment, the people there. Basically, I don't really know at that point. If I were to say I know 100%, no lah. In the sense because I don't know how's the staff going. I mean, people how they are working in the staffs that are working there. So I don't really know that. But basically, on the ground, I know everyone. So I know basically. So to me, it's like when if I were to work in Al-Khair, all this experience, meeting people, knowing people, that connection, somehow will help in my work in Al-Khair. And I see that as how those pioneers before me had taught me. So today, I'm working with them to help the next generation. So understand Islam, to bring it's not to change them, but to help them equip how I can make Islam relevant to today, relevant to their life, to their context today, to whatever they're going through today, to their, because people see that. Okay, 10 years ago, people see that Islam is more of the orthodox teaching, like whatever happens after you die, okay, basically whatever happens below the grave, in the grave, and whatever happens above the sky. Yeah. So whatever happens between the sky and the earth, we are not talking about that. Our daily life. How is Islam? If I said Quran is the solution, Quran is my solution to my daily problems, how? I can say that everybody agree. Yeah, I can tell you also agree. Yeah. But how is it implemented? How can I say that Islam is relevant to today's context? How?
Can I say that the community is not well educated on these things, or is there a lack of educational knowledge to be shared during that time compared to now?
I can say that it's more of the later, which is lack of knowledge, lack of education. People are more concentrated to whatever happens after life, the hereafter. We were so focused on that we forget that Islam is also covering the aspects of life today. Before we enter the hereafter, because whatever that's going to happen in life is going to be brought over. Yes, you're going to reflect that. So basically, we are too focused on that we forget this part. And it also, part of it is also lack of education on how to implement Islam in today's life. And today's context, you have like you have issues like social issues, equality, materialistic. So these questions were not. I mean, it could be that they were not raised at the point of time. It could be that people at that point of time had answers for this, but it wasn't raised. But today it's being raised, so we didn't study, so now people don't know how to answer that. So now we have to answer this type of questions. So to me, it's an eye opener for me, myself, and also that's how I work together with my pioneers to help guide the current community. That's how I give back to them.
Do you have any good stories or experience? You know, when you start off with, and throughout till now, is there any good stories that you want to share? Your experiences meeting people. Do you have?
Okay, basically there's two. One, there was this talk about the signs of Qiyamah, the signs of when the end of day of judgment comes. So there are signs for that. So one of the signs is Ya'juj and Ma'juj, Gog and Magog. So the preacher was basically, the Ustaz was giving the talk about Gog and Magog and all this and scientific fact. So then one student, if I'm not wrong, was a university student. So he stood up and he asked, how is Gog and Magog relevant to me? I am listening like half an hour story of Gog and Magog. So what does it got to do with me? So that sparked it. Said, oh yeah, how? Secondly, there was this basically a student also. There was a young university student. He was asking, you Ustaz are talking about the life of hereafter. So then this guy is asking, how is just this small grave, how many foot by how many foot only, you can stuff everything inside there. So I start to wonder, how am I supposed to answer this? You can't answer by the Quran or Hadith. You have to answer something logic because it's asking something logic.
True.
So it shocked me. Okay, why not you look at your phone or your computer? It's just how many inch, not foot, how many inch by how many inch. But you can look at the vast ocean. On that vast ocean, you have lots of ships. On that ships, you have tons and tons of containers. How is all that able to fit such a few inch dimension? So that's how the logic comes.
Impromptu answers, based on experience, that kind of thing. You are able to reflect back.
Basically, that comes from Allah. So it's basically more of when we start to go out to the community, we meet the community, read a lot, seek knowledge. So then we sit with the community, we mingle around. So we have lots of questions, we have a lot of inquiries, lot of complex question that needs thinking. So
I agree to that. And you do you active yourself in social media and you do talks, convey good messages in social media. Does it help in a way in a current situation, especially in pandemic?
Okay, basically my Facebook is also stagnant. So but basically because Al-Khair we have our social media department. So basically I produce contents for them. In that sense, so they will boost it out to the community.
Okay.
So basically, I'm currently heading the Darul Tafsir department.
Okay.
Currently, we are in collaboration with Masjid Wak Tanjung. We are doing a program called Tafsir Beat. We just launched it I think a few days back. So basically, this Tafsir Beat, our thinking is how we can reach out to the community that they are already away from the religion. They're already away from the deen. But they wish to study about the deen, they wish to know about the religion, but to them that they feel too far away, they feel that they're really unreachable. It's hopeless really for them to come back. So we wish to reach out to them to tell them that there's still hope.
Yeah.
In one way, Masjid Wak Tanjung started off with Quran Beat. So studying one verse per day on WhatsApp. So basically, why we chose WhatsApp is because with WhatsApp you have all kinds of spam messages. You have the link messages that you send this to 10 person, you have good luck. All that kind of message will reach you somehow. So use that kind of medium so that to knock on people's door to tell that never mind. If you think that praying today is too heavy on you, never mind, just maybe read one verse first.
He has to start somewhere, right?
Start somewhere. Yeah. So Masjid Wak Tanjung had that initiative. They started off that. So we Al-Khair Mosque, we were known as the Muiz assigned us at Darul Tafsir. So we are the heart of basically whatever got to do with tafsir, Quran exegesis. So basically anything got to do with interpretation of the Quran, it comes in it will fall in Al-Khair. So we use that same concept that Masjid Wak Tanjung did to start off Tafsir Beat, meaning understanding one verse per day.
So you have to start somewhere. Talking about starting, right? This question kept coming to my mind. When youth, right, decided to start a career, right? There is always a article say, do religious teacher earns, right? That kind of thing. So does it affect you in this way? Should I work in a normal career? Why do you choose to become a religious teacher? That kind of thing. Yeah.
Okay. I agree with you in that sense that up till today, even our if you were to look at the basic salary of those in the secular line and those in the religious line, it's a significant difference.
Yeah.
So if I were to go for I'm not saying that wealth is not important. No, I'm not saying that. So I would have chosen the embassy, the job for the embassy, which is like a significant difference of pay. But because what I see is that I had the spark that came to me towards religion came when I was in the circle of friends that had that communication about religion. So they were brought up. I had that environment. So without that environment, I don't know where am I today. So to me, is because I'm thankful for my circle of friends, for my father bringing me to the mosque every single day that I didn't see. Sometimes I feel like a burden. Macam, okay lah, just follow lah. My father like follow lah. So, but because of all these small things, and it's basically, if you look, it's basically something. It's a factor from the community. It's everything is coming from the community, from all angles. From my father, praying in congregation, getting to know the imam, having the imam as my teacher, religious teacher, then having meeting friends, making pool of friends there. So getting in depth into the knowledge of religion. So there's a community part playing in that picture. So what I can see is that why did I choose to still pursue in the religious line is basically because I want to give back. Because I know there are people, there are young generations out there who may be like me in that sense that we are on the secular line, but we want to know, but we just don't know where to go. And there are also some young generations that I'm very afraid that could be that they see that Islamic learning is so orthodox or classical that they don't see the relevancy of Islam today.
Okay.
So to me, it's me, and for me, studying all this, why would I study so much? I have a whole library at home, and what all this for? It's going to collect dust. So how am I supposed to give back to the community? I have to give back to the community through this. So this is the only way for me to be giving back to the community.
Okay. What is your next step basically after this? What do you plan to do? Since you're talking about the community, right? Besides sharing the knowledge itself, is there any other plans that you wish to do, and I think that you has not reached to that?
So, inshallah, in Ramadan, we will be launching a book compilation. It consists of a few articles, thematic tafsir. Basically, how we touch on, I give you an example. Is eating halal food? Must eating halal food be foods that are good to us, healthy, or can it be junk food and it's still halal? Is it okay?
Alright.
So we have people. The current community understanding is it must be halal, it must be toy, which is good. So if it's halal and it's not good, so it's not good. So it's still not good. So it has to be rejected or has to be put far away. So and if it's a healthy food and it's not halal, so it also has to be pushed away. So how do we understand the context? So how do we approach to the verse? So basically the book is a compilation of thematic topics. How to show that the relevancy of every single we don't go verse by verse, but we take it thematically, in the sense that we take one topic. So a group of verse to touch on a certain topic. So inshallah you'll be launching in mid Ramadan, inshallah. So we are discussing with the publisher to get it published.
Talking about Ramadan, right?
Near around the corner.
Yes. So what do you think that as a youth, right? What is they should practice during this Ramadan? What is the healthy practices should be done during this Ramadan, despite they are going, schooling or working, right, that kind of thing? Is there anything that your advice for them, or the reflection towards the community to this Ramadan?
What I can say is use this Ramadan as a time for you to change. I mean, that sense that as a starting point for you to do something better than you were before. So in that sense, if let's say before this you've not been praying, so maybe it could be today you start with one prayer. From Ramadan, make this as a changing factor for you to maybe start with one prayer first.
Yeah.
Then maybe and make it consistent. Don't just first 3 Ramadan, I have that zeal and passion. But after that, then it'll just die out. I used to have this. One of my lecturers used to tell us that be like a petrol. Be like a petrol. Don't just be like a burning fire. Why? Because if it's a burning fire by wood or by wood, it will just burn and just die out. But if it's petrol or if it's like charcoal, it will burn. It will burn, and even though the fire dies out, the charcoal, you still have the heating and the heat, and then you still can't touch it because it's still hot. You still give that burn sensation. So be like that, in that sense that have have a deed, start a deed, even though it's a small deed. Start it today, but make it consistent. So if let's say I've never been fasting, so start it today. Make Ramadan as a day you start fasting. Or maybe you've not praying, not reading the Quran. Maybe start one verse during Ramadan.
Start something good.
Yes,
right?
start something.
There is always a starting point that you
True.
can start. Yeah, that kind of. All right. Any last words to the youth out there that you want to share?
Okay. After such a
This
long
is the first time, right? First time that you're being interviewed deeply.
So okay, basically what I can say, looking at my past, okay, I won't say that, okay, just because you have a passion for, okay, after this, whoever is in the secular, change to religious life. No, I don't say that. What I can say that if you have the passion and you have a passion for something and determination to do it, and it's in line with the Islamic teaching, it's not against the Islamic teaching, then pursue it. If you have that interest, if you have a passion for maybe in the hospital line, in the hospital sector, or as to become a doctor or surgeon, then, and it's in line with the religious teaching of saving lives. It's not against the Islamic teachings. Then by all means go. If you have a passion being a nurse, so go. As long it's within that. It's within that. You are not going against the teachings of Islam, and as long as you have that passion, you are not being forced to do so, and just believe that everything that happens for a reason. So maybe it could be that today I feel, if you were to look at when I told the story about, I feel I don't know why I was placed in the second class when I'm supposed to go to the first class. Then at that point of time there was no students for the first class. I have to go to the second class and everybody's like conversing in Arabic. So to me it's like I'm being placed in the wrong place. I didn't choose this. So what is this? I'm going back. No, but because of that, it pushed me and I was able to overcome everything within 3 months. So to me, everything happens for a reason. So just believe that, yes, maybe today is hard for us. Maybe we are going through something that everyone is not feeling. We are going through something that we are the only one feeling it. It can be very hard on us. No one's feeling it. We are going through so much remorse, so much misery, so much depression. But believe that end of the day, there's something good coming for us. That's one. Secondly, believe that Allah Ta'ala won't test us above our capacity. And thirdly, start something small, start a good deed small, but make it consistent.
Great.
So, inshallah,
again, as what you say, I think based on your experience, passion really comes to priority.
True.
And of course, you have to put in your determination, the effort.
Agree.
And of course, we need to have the support from all around us,
True.
Especially our parents.
True.
Right?
Have that support. Yeah.
Great. Well, Ustaz, thank you so much for the time.
Thank you too.
It's a deep interview. I learned something. I think the community or the youth itself learned something from the experience that you have. The moving forward spirits that you have. We appreciate that. I think Bilik Kaca at Cat Hong really appreciate your time having us. We have a little gift here. So this is just our T-shirt from Bilik Kaca at Cat Hong. Thank you so much,
sir. Thank you so much. Okay, I'm really thankful for the T-shirt and also thank you so much for this sharing session. I think that Bilik Kaca is a really healthy program to reach out to the community, give good inputs, sharing what is on the ground within the community. So I think it's a really good program, and you should really continue this good.
It's our duty to share knowledge to the community. Thank you so much.
Thank you so much, sir.